Carmen Pizarro. How'd I do?
Thank you, Maria Lynn Johnson. How are you?
I am fabulous. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Me too.
I was just explaining to people that it seems like I'm seeing in so many places that TEDx is just booming everywhere. It's becoming the conversation and growing in popularity, and not everybody knows much about it. And so I'm really excited you're going to hear to talk about that. But first, I want to introduce you. So why don't you just share with everybody what you do and how you help people?
Yes, I am a transformational coach. And what I do, I help people transform in two ways. My two areas of expertise are health coaching. So I work directly with individuals, specifically executive and leaders, to have them just do small tweaks in their diet and lifestyle and just feel amazing, basically rock the boardroom, which is one of my specialties. And the other area of expertise is leadership training. So I have a firm that we dedicate ourselves. Actually, my mission is to change the corporate conversation, to change it and to add heart into it. So we have a few programs. We have a heart-based leadership program that teach leaders how to just infuse their leadership with heart. So you do that, you eat well, you sleep well, you meditate, you're rocking.
So, that's wonderful. Boy, that's needed in so many places. Maybe just give this quick disclaimer or overview on this difference between TED and we're talking about TEDx.
TED is Maria would say the mothership. So imagine there's, the mothership is TED. So TED is a nonprofit organization that was founded with the effort of spreading ideas. And they're using their own words, ideas that are worth spreading. In other words, that ideas that if everyone that is listening would apply in the world would be a better place. So that's what they say, that's TED, right? And it started in the area of technology and it has transcended every area of life. Now, TED is one big event that happens, I believe it's once a year. And as it grew in popularity, they created what is called as TEDx. And TEDx, the way my personal definition of it is like a franchise. So you're franchising the TED concept and taking it into every major city in the world. It's part of their mission. The mission is to spread ideas worth spreading. So what better way to franchising? And I'm using franchising, that's my own word, or licensing, speaking experts to be individual organizers of TEDx events in different cities. And I participated in a TEDx event. And then once that event is done, TED needs to approve that the event was that met all the TED requirements and that the talks were TED worthy. And then we are uploaded into the TED YouTube channel, which is a big deal. And recently my talk was uploaded there. So I'm celebrating.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. And I did watch the talk, as many others have, and so I just wanted to congratulate you again and say, what an amazing, important, valuable topic, and you just did a fabulous job, and hopefully that's going to just touch so many lives. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. And it's funny because once I finished, and I'm going to talk about the process, which was grueling, life-changing, transformational, and very, very exhausting in a good way. It's all good. Yeah. However, once I finished that day, once everything was done, I was ready for my next one. I'm working on what's going to be my next. I'll have to start the process. Now I know, right?
Right, right. It's like writing a book. Once you have it down.
I do want to do a second one.
Yeah. So let's start from the top. People watching, they're saying, oh, I really want to do a TEDx talk. How do you pick an idea? How do you even get started? And what did you do?
So, so the first thing a lot of people ask me that question, and the first thing I do tell them is look for, just Google TEDx in your area and see when are they hosting an event and what's the topic. So every TEDx, the same as the big TED, every TEDx is going to have a topic, a slogan. This one was risk changers and change makers. It changes every year.
Okay.
So in this case, because I'm also a speaker and I am on a mission to speak and in as many stages as possible, free or paid, making an offer or not making an offer, it didn't matter. One of those times where I was speaking, basically practicing my speaking skills in a live audience, it was a women's conference and a TEDx organizer was sitting there. I had no idea. She was sitting there and she came to me and she said, you have a TED inside of you. You just need to bring it out. It's not out yet. You don't know it, but you have it in you. And I went like, and that stayed in my head. Oh my God, and how do I do this? So I started looking for events. And when this person just happened to be the TEDx organizer for TEDx Lincoln Square, New York, which is a driving distance, they rarely do that. You have to travel all over. It's usually, in your area. So she did contact me and she said, hey, remember I told you you had a TED inside of you, why don't you apply? So that was a Thursday.
Yeah, so you actually got asked and approached because someone was in the audience.
Yeah.
Do they do that a lot? Are there TEDx organizers who go and watch speakers and just kind of plant themselves?
Yes.
We aren't even aware when we're speaking.
We're not even aware. That's why, and you teach speaking, that's why we need to always be ready. That's one of the lessons that I learned. Yeah. And even though I didn't do the talk that she saw was not TEDx worthy, but it gave her enough of me to say there's something in there that is worth, looking deeper and see, if we can have something going on here for my TEDx. Right. So she approached me and she said, here's the application. But what happens when you get approached? I was like, I'm in. She approached me. I'm in. I just have to. So I actually didn't do a great job in the first application. I saw the application and even though it looks very simple, I'm like, oh my God, it made me think. So that was a Thursday. It took me a few hours. I fill it up, send it to her. Immediately she responds, oh no, this is no. Thank you so much for applying, but no.
Really?
Yeah. Thank you so much for applying, but no, this is not. I don't know where I got the courage. It sounds silly now, but the courage to say, can I try again? That was for me huge. I got the no, and I kept remembering a no it just gets me closer to a yes. That's another lesson learned. Every no gets me closer to a yes. I want to be on the freaking stage. So she's like, oh no, absolutely. I'm accepting applications. I'm getting, I don't know how many applications, thousands of applications. She's like, absolutely open to receive. Try again. I try again. Takes me like another 3 hours, but now I'm panicking. And I send the email quickly. It's a Thursday night, Friday morning. Oh, thank you so much for, so excited, amazing topic, but not for TED. Not for TEDx. Thank you. No.
Second, no. Okay.
Second time. Yeah, my husband is home. He's like, baby, 3 times the charm. Go for it. I'm like, with all your respect, would it be okay if I try again? And she said the same thing. Absolutely. I'm getting blah, blah, blah. I do it again. Now it's like Saturday. And Sunday night, I get the same email. Thank you. This is so nice. Oh my God, you have so many ideas inside of you. Excellent, but not really. No, this is not for TEDx. And now it's Sunday and I'm destroyed. I'm tired. I don't know what else to do. And I decided to go on the topic. I'm like, okay, game changers. I watched, I don't know how many, it was 18 hours of work. I counted because I went to TED. I took TED trainings that are online. I watched, I don't know how many TED Talks, TED, the big TED.
Yeah.
And I went for it. I'm like, no, I went with a topic that I thought was the lamest one. I'm being totally honest and transparent here. I thought talking about when did we stop loving our bodies? It's just like kind of like everybody was doing that. I didn't feel it was strong enough. But what I learned, and this is actually in the notes I had for today, is that it was about me asking the right question. So the way I was presenting is how to do this, how to do that, how to, or 3 strategies for more on the way I learned to do blogs or speak to sell talks, things like that. Absolutely none of that. I had to basically unlearn and start really looking inside and asking, what about body love? I mean, that's something that I teach with passion. And when the hell did we start hating our bodies? When did that happen? I had done a lot of research on the psychology and history. So I started writing a new application the 4th time. All of it was training. Yeah. And I got the yes. And she said, now we're talking. Now you have a, this is it. I reread it how many times, that email. I could not believe, I mean, it was so exciting.
What did that feel like when you first got that?
I didn't believe it because I got used to the no, even though I was not taking personal. I know in the speaking world, we're going to get a lot of no's, but I even replied like, does this mean like, am I in the TEDx Lincoln Square? Oh, and I love New York City. That to me was a super honor. You know, it was not the corner store TEDx. It was Lincoln Square, New York City. And that was huge, at least in the East Coast. Right. And she said, yeah, welcome. What else do you want me to tell you? Like, oh my God, yeah, I'm like, can I celebrate? She said, yes. I was actually scared that it wasn't.
Right.
It was a yes. And
so those first 3 times that you applied, did you have totally different talks that you tried each of those 4 times?
Different talks. And the 3 ones that I submitted before, it was so much work that they become articles or talks anyway. That's the difference. The difference with TEDx is that it has to be an idea worth spreading, that the way I present it is different. Right? So I was talking about self-awareness is a topic that I love, that I don't even know what the other 2 were, but there were things that became blog posts. I used that material. And I actually used one of the applications for a course that I was delivering on goal setting. Right? You can do that, but not here. Here is about that inspiring idea that you're going to present from a different point of view, and you're going to infuse your story. So at that moment, I knew I needed a coach.
Yeah. Okay.
After all of that pain, I did celebrate, but I knew I was in deep trouble. I'm like, oh shit. Okay. Yeah. It took me 4 times. Obviously, this is harder. Grasping what they want in their stage was harder than I was imagined. And also, I learned to speak. I'm a corporate person. I'm been in business 3 years. I learned to speak from Lisa Sasevich and Callan Rush and Ali Brown, which is more selling. And I'm learning to do keynotes now, but it's more teaching. None of that is TED.
What's the biggest difference in the speaking with TED versus?
I mean, TEDx is a speaking, right? It's part of my speaking portfolio right now. But the difference is that you are sharing an idea that comes out of a question. So the question is, when did we start hating our bodies? You're sharing that idea from a unique point of view with the purpose of creating change at the end of the talk. Not that you're going to give 3 strategies or whatever, even though they might be earth-shattering. It's like it's something that is going to change the way people think. And the line is very fine. So now I have a go-ahead with a topic that I'm scared shitless that I'm going to develop it like my other talks. Because now I have to develop the talk. And that's why I hired a coach. Approved by TEDx. By TED, sorry. Approved by TED. So she's approved by TED. A good friend of mine, actually a former visibility coach. I hired a visibility coach years ago. And she said, Mari, you need to talk to this person in New York. Then she had done other TEDx's. So I went and watched her work. I liked what she did. She was the one. very knowledgeable, very loving, very strong. I mean, tough love, because I'm already accepted. I have a TEDx to deliver, and it's her name, right? If I'm in her website, it's her name, the one that is like, who's my TEDx coach. So I hired a TEDx coach, and the first thing I had to learn, even though I knew it, in my head, I knew this is not a keynote. I'm not teaching. It's not an inspirational talk either. So it's a TEDx. And that was hours of writing and rewriting and writing and rewriting and writing and rewriting. And I learned to let go of 3 hours of work, to let go of 6 hours of work, to let go of my
What do you mean by that? To let go
is that I write for 3 or 4 hours, trying to grasp the concept of what a TEDx is. And then she will see it. She's like, oh, this is very good, but you're teaching. This is very good, but that's a keynote. I'm like, yeah, so let's just edit the document. She's like, no, we need to like scratch it.
Wow, let's start over.
It's important that the process of preparation, I had about 8 weeks, and that was on top of the busiest time of the year for me. I had a book tour, I had speaking engagements, I had my coaching agenda was full, all grateful. I'm not complaining about anything. I had a mini vacation. I had my first marathon 2 days before the talk already. I mean, I had people out of town coming to do that because that was something I wanted, to prove myself of mindset. That's something that I wanted to do. I couldn't get out of it. I didn't want to get out of it. And I had a couple, I was entertaining friends 5 days before the TEDx, including the TEDx day. I mean, they went, I had to take them to New York with me and all of that. So this is on top of everything. And letting go of 3 hours of work this week and 6 hours of work the next week, that meant nights and weekends. This is no joke. I was not backing out of this one.
Yeah.
So it's proving on you, resiliency, perseverance, determination, getting no. Now I'm in, and I'm still fighting with the no and the rejection of what I wrote. And at some point she said, do you want me? I write the talks for some people, but I think it's better if I get it out of you. I said, no, let's just get it out of me. And I knew that was a lot of hours. But let me tell you, I'm a different person. I'm a different speaker because I went through that depuration process. It made me, first of all, it cemented the fact that I was born to be on a stage speaking and sharing my message. Because, these figurines, that Webelos, when we were little, that you would, I don't know how to say that in English, but anyways, they will come up and they will never fall really, but they will go back, come up. That's how I felt every time, like back, no, I have to come up. And that changes you as a person. And it was it's like a test. Like, it's like the universe testing me, like, do you really want to be a speaker? Are you going to be proven now? You're going to be given the rejection, and you're going to, even though you were selected, you might mess this up. And all of that was in my head, right? So it was a big test of, do I really want to be in front of audiences and adjust my style and even though I was very me when I was there, and go through all of the rejection and the hours of work to become a speaker that connects. That's what is real connection. I'm not selling anything. It's not about selling. That's not related to a program that I'm doing. It's an idea that I had, and it was worth spreading. And TEDx thought it was worth spreading. And there's people there that outside of the talk told me, you changed my life, That's exactly how I felt. And other people didn't. They're like, oh, you look a certain way. We never knew you struggled. And now I'm more human. So it does change you as a speaker. It's connecting with that humanness. One thing that the coach taught me, when you go to TEDx, there's no notes. You don't look at the slide to get a hint. The slides are going and you're looking. I mean, this is 100% memorization. There's no excuse, there's nobody, there's nothing. It's your mind and what you remember. So I was playing the movie. And when I was in front of the stage, we did a rehearsal. And I said, so how do I want to say, hi, hey, you know, nice to see you, or, oh my God, so many of you here, how many beautiful faces, something to get me going. You know, so I said to her, what do I say to get me going? Do I say, hi, good afternoon, thank you for the introduction? She said, no. What happens when you're in TEDx or TED, actually the same, and you go on stage on that red circle, there's a few seconds, probably 3 to 5 seconds, where the audience is giving me a gift, and I feel it right now as I'm talking. And they're giving me the gift of their presence. So I take a second or two to take in that gift. And then I take a deep breath. She taught me to do this. I didn't know if it was going to work. And then I start giving them my gift, which is my talk. So I accept their gift of their presence. And this is what they probably taught her in TED. It's so beautiful. So I'm there, I did exactly what I stood on the red thing. I took a deep breath. You can't even tell. When I see it, I'm like, oh, wow, I did all of that. I thanked them. I'm like looking at them, thanking them with my eyes. And then I took another deep breath. The whole thing probably took 2 seconds or maybe 3 seconds. And I said, I'm going to share my gift with you from my heart, in my head. And then I started delivering the talk without saying another word. There's no interjections. There's no whom's. There's no, but let me tell you. There's no questions. It's telling. You know, when we speak, we say questions like, did you know that, 50% of these, or did you know that, blah, blah, blah. And how many of you, none of that happens. It's like you're sharing and there's no connection. When I was practicing, I had the paragraphs, and the paragraphs, there's no connection. I had to create the connections in my head so I wouldn't forget, right? So it's less interactive. I'm not talking at them, I'm giving them a gift. So it's less interactive. I'm working right now on a keynote, and there's a lot of interaction, and they do an exercise. This is different. This is me. I'm giving them a gift, and I'm sharing. She's like, imagine like you're like that with a glass of wine and your best friend, and you're just sharing it's only 14 minutes. It's not long. So I can talk for 14 minutes and just share and from the heart. And that's how we change my speaking. I have a different appreciation for people that go to listen to you on a talk, and that creating that connection. I thought I was creating it, and I think I was, but now it's at a different level. Now I understand the gift. Practicing helps a lot. I am a meditator. Meditation has changed my life. That's another topic, but I've been meditating for 3 years. I upgraded my meditation during this time. So I added more time. And every 20 minutes of meditation gives me and you and anybody that meditates, that time was giving me a few extra hours of energy a day. So I meditate 20 minutes, I get 2 hours back. So it's an hour and 40, right? Because I meditated, you take the 20 minutes out. And that's how meditation works in the brain. So I upgraded my meditation because I knew it was going to calm my internal system. And I upgraded it probably the 8 weeks before the event, which also helped me with my running a lot. So I practiced 100 times. And about 15 of those was the last week in front of whomever was able to listen. I went to women's groups. I was invited. Once I posted in Facebook that I needed to practice, bunch of people around my community and even farther started reaching out. Can you come and talk on Thursday? And we'll give you feedback. Speaking groups started calling me, and I just could not believe it. And I would go there with my papers. Right? I would go there with my papers, and they'd be like, papers down. I'm like, no, but I'm not ready. In front of people I did not know. So it's okay to be afraid and to have nerves in front of them because they're giving me the gift of listening before the TEDx. And that was, I recommend that to everyone, that even for another, if you have an important talk, It doesn't have to be TEDx. Practice in front. There's a lot of people that want to hear you practice and give you feedback. Speaking groups are all over. I had no idea. There's like 3 or 4 around where I live. And they were just fascinated that I worked with a coach and I was delivering this message. The ending of my TEDx changed 3 days before, which was really, it was stressful, but out of the feedback that these women gave me. And I had to go back to my coach and say, I'm sorry, I'm getting this feedback. She said, bring it on, let's just work on it. So we were making changes until like 3 days before, until I said, enough. If we make another change, I just might not do it, might just freeze there. Because the memorization again, right? So the practicing, as I said, was about 100 times, which is less than 100 hours if you think about it. But so every opportunity. The first practice was all reading, just reading without pausing. It's a memorization technique that the coach gave me. And I did that many, many times. I mean, the content sucked. Yeah, with the papers. The content, I was sick of it. I had headaches all the time. That's why meditation became so important. So first I did that several times. Out loud, yes, out loud, not in my head, never in my head. Reading a document like with no spaces. It's getting the words a second nature, especially English is my second language, so it was a little bit more. Then pausing, then memorizing pages, then page 1 memorize, then 1 and 2, then 1, 2, 3. It was like 6 or 7 pages, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then start without the papers. So probably, I don't know, 20 times. And then for the half marathon, because I'm a slow runner, it took me a long time. It took me so I recorded myself, very animated, because we rehearse like this is theater, right? You are rehearsing, you're living the talk and you're acting the talk. It's a big deal, right? What I do with my arms and what I do with my breathing in front of so I would do a full-blown rehearsal on my iPhone. And then I did another one where I'm saying, okay, Mari, here's when you say that you were living in Puerto Rico and this happened. And here's when this picture is going to come up on the slides and you say this. So chunking works for everything. I mean, I teach that even on when you are coaching others, you chunk the information in manageable chunks of information that sounds redundant, but for the mind. Did my coach help me with improvements and staging? Absolutely. My coach is in New York City, so I practiced with her in person probably 5 times, where we ran with the TEDx. The cool thing is that it's only 14 minutes, but this was intense. So I would start talking. She's like, stop, start again, stop. Not sounding, it doesn't sound conversational. Stop, start again, stop, start again. You know, it was like I was getting red. That's why I was not afraid the day of the TEDx. I was so prepared. So the staging is very important, how you own the stage. So once we knew exactly how the stage was going to look, I went to the stage the day before. Everybody was invited to see the lights. Where are the lights going to be? They were blinding. So we had that opportunity. Now I know if I don't have that opportunity, like for my next speaking engagement, if I don't have the opportunity to be on the stage beforehand, I will, like the same day, this is almost a non-negotiable. It's not a non-negotiable. I can speak without being in the stage, but it really changes a lot. It changes that feeling of nervousness. That happened the first time I set my foot on the real stage, and that was the day before. That was not the day of the TEDx. That was 24 hours before. So 50% of my nervousness went away because I'm in the same stage and I'm taking in the energy of the room. And I always knew that was important, but this time I'm like, oh my God, that took away 50% of the fear. I know where the stairs are. I know what I'm going to be wearing. You know, I had my outfit picked up. I went there with the shoes I was going to wear that same day, which were like super high heels. And I wanted to make sure I was comfortable. So practice like your life depends on it. Yes, yes. Okay, what to do if I'm interested in doing a TEDx talk? So even before you think you have a good idea, because you might get rejected, make sure you find the right TEDx event for you. Make sure you find the right TEDx event with the right slogan. They have a name for it. It's a theme, with the right theme, and they are advertised, because these people need speakers. This is not a joke. They're looking for speakers. They need speakers. They need to fill a certain amount of speakers. If not, the event does not go. So they're looking for you. I would super recommend to start to look for local ones where you can go and meet the person. Pick up the phone, find out who's the organizer, look on the website. If the event talks to you, if the venue talks to you, make sure you're excited about. Don't go for the one, this is gonna be your resume forever. Pick up the phone and find that person. Talk to their admin, have your admin talk to the admin, make sure this person hears about you and you want to be on that stage. And then go through the application process, but at least you have to go. It's mandatory. You have to go through the application process, but at least there's a connection. Like I had a connection with her, with the organizer. Granted, she came to me, but oh boy, she was tough. Right? And once you get selected, because if you really want this, you will, you need to be committed to practice. You need to be ready to put other things aside, like night outs, family. I mean, honestly, the 8 weeks to the event are crucial. This is on YouTube for good, forever, until TED disappears. You have to do a good job. You cannot go there and the TED talk is not mine. You need to know that it's on TEDx, and I cannot go and take it out of there if I don't like it. And remember, every no gets you closer to a yes. Yay! So you can find me. My company is Streamlined Health. You can find me at streamlinedhealth.com. But the good news is that because TEDx transformed my life, I have been asked to speak in bigger stages. And I'm in the process of working with my, creating a very simple speakers page with my sizzle reel that we got done. And so that's part of the benefits of being, it builds credibility and it goes in my resume. So very soon, it's a matter of a week, maricarmenpizarro.com would be my speakers page, and you can see my TEDx there. And that's more for if you are looking for the speaking side of this product, right? I believe that I am the product, maricarmenpizarro.com. Yeah, I'm so excited.